this tutorial, I'm just gonna show you how I work. This one's gonna be pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna go into a lot of details. I'm just gonna go in and use the pin tool, or start off using the pin tool to go in and remove this from the background. Often, like, I picked this photo intentionally because the background is so busy. It's times like this where obviously the magic wand tool is totally useless. The quick selection tool would be a good choice for something like this. But it's still, again, it's working pretty good. But it's still not going to be perfect, because you can see I'm getting these little bits of pieces that just don't want to go in. And if I zoom in on there, you can see I'm missing a little bit here, so I can add in here. Again, it's acceptable. I think in most situations it would make an acceptable selection. But the pin tool, I'm going to select deselect, and the pin tool just gives you a much better line quality if I'm going to remove something like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom in, and I'm just going to click on the pin tool here, and I'm just going to click here, click release and add an anchor point, click release and add a straight line anchor point, click release, and then I have a curve, so I'm going to click drag, and it's not exactly in the right spot that I want, so I'm just going to release that. Okay, I'm nudging that over with the arrow tool, and it's going a little too far, so I'm going to come over here to the white arrow tool. I'm going to zoom in a little. And also with something like this, you can see that line, it's not quite cutting into that brown of that rail right here. So I'm gonna move this over. It's better to cut into it a little bit. You'll get a much cleaner line. I mean, rather than having this extra this fringing out there. So it's always good to just cut into that a little bit, and it'll, you're sort of cheating a bit, but it's you're gonna have a much cleaner look to it. Okay, I'm just gonna stop that there. Actually, I'm gonna hit the white arrow tool again. Okay, A is it. Move that over. All right. And I don't like this handle here. I like it at the top, but I want to get rid of that bottom handle. I'm gonna hold the Option key and click and drag that right back onto itself. Okay, so now I'm gonna use the oh, I deselected it. If I zoom in, let's see, that's hollow. I need to reselect that point. Okay, you see that asterisk right there? It's telling me that I'm getting I'm making a new path. I'm gonna click, here's my layers panel. I'm gonna click over here to paths. Okay, you can see it says work path. But that asterisk, I don't want that. So I'm gonna click on that point again, and now you can see once I've clicked on it with the pen tool, it's telling me that I don't have that new path asterisk. So I think I'm good to go. I can click and it continues. Alright, so I've gotten that path. It's moving along, and I'm gonna cut into that a little bit. I don't like that, so I'm holding the Command key, get the Option, and move that over just so it cuts into that line a little bit, so I don't get all this fringing. I'm holding the space bar, nudge that over. I'm just gonna click, 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 click. Actually, I need to hold the Command key, and I'm just gonna move that down a little bit so I can cut into that. Click, click, drag. Actually, I'm gonna hold the Command key and move that in because it's sticking out a little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna just release, click, drag, and I want this to be a straight line, this handle to be straight, so I'm just gonna hold the Option key and drag that back inside. So now when I click here, I'll get a nice straight line. Okay, space bar to move that up. Okay, I'm gonna click, drag, follow along that line. I'm just gonna zoom out a little so I can see what I'm doing here because I don't even know where I'm at. Okay, what am I looking at? Okay, so it appears there's a hole here that looks like there's a piece attached here. So I'm just gonna click, drag, hold the Option key, drag that handle back in on top of itself. I'm just gonna click out here, drag, click, space bar, move that up, click, drag, click, click, drag. and I'm holding the Option key to drag that back in. Click. And I'm going to drag that handle back in on top of itself, and I'm also going to move it. So I'm going to hit the weight space bar. Actually, I'm just going to cut into this a little bit because I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, so I'm going to, that's selected again. I'm going to just click, and I'm going to click, drag, cut in on that. Click here. Click, drag, should I say. All right, I don't like that. I'm going to hold the Command key, move that into place. And that handle might be a little too long. It might pull this out too much. If I just click, yeah, see, it's coming down too far. So I've already clicked. I'm just going to leave that, hit the Command key, and drag that handle back, you know, and make it a little bit shorter. Okay, now I'm just going to use a space bar, and this is already selected. Okay, so I'm just going to click, drag here, click, drag, click, click, drag, and I want to move that in, so I'm just going to hit the Option key and drag that point in a little. Again, I'm cutting in on that ever so slightly. I'm holding the Option key so I can break that point down. I can make it stick out here, but I find it easier just to completely drag it right back on top of itself. But if I move that out here, it will affect this line, but if I angle it right there, it should, you can see how it's pulling. And I'm not crazy about that extra little curvature, so I'm just going to go back and remake that point. I just hit Command Z and then Command Option Z to, you know, move further back. You can either just go to the history panel and do that. So there's my handle, Option, drag, or, you know, add a little point here and then just click one time. All right, I'm going to try to move through this. And right here, I'm holding the Command key to reposition. Actually, I should leave that. Okay, right here you can see that cuts right through. You got a little black area here. See, this is a time when, you know, you'd have to really make a particular kind of selection if you were using something other than a pen tool. This is the kind of area that would cause you problems, where you really have to, you know, like maybe using the lasso tool to make a very specific change. And right here I'm just guessing as to how that tire is moving. I'm gonna hit the spacebar, Command Option, zoom out. Let me zoom out again, okay, there we go. And I want to let's see, I have a feeling this isn't gonna work. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Okay, now I'm just click, drag, Option key to drag that back in, and right here I completely have no idea what's happening under this fender. So I'm just gonna guess. I'm just gonna drag up, drag down. Imagine that tire is gonna come across here. Spacebar to move, click, drag, and that's the Option key to play with that hand, to adjust that handle. Click, drag. I should have brought, I'm going to do that. I just hit Command Z so I could redo that because I didn't drag that handle in. I wanted to drag that in. And I'll drag it in on top of itself. And then come across here. Again, I'm guessing what's going on here. I should have paid more attention to how fat these tires were. But I'm going to hit Command Shift or Command Option Z. That looks good. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I mean, like if I were doing this for a client or something, I'd want to look at other photographs to make sure that I was getting these tires and things as accurately as possible. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I am not going to fret about it. Okay, spacebar, move that over. I'm just going to click here, click, drag, hold the Option key to break that handle down, click, drag. I'm just going to click, drag. I need to nudge that up, holding the the Command key, click, drag. And again, I'm working on a Mac, so if you're on a PC, some of these key commands might be a little different. Okay, so here that's a corner. Look, appears to be a corner, although that's round here. So let me zoom in. I'm gonna Command Shift Z. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna redo do that. Yeah, it does appear to kind of be pretty close to a corner point here. Click drag. Alright, click, click drag, click drag, click, click drag, and I want that kind of long so I can get all the way around that curve. Zoom out. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in here because I definitely don't want to catch into this extra fringing here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here because there's a lot going on here, so I'm just going to cut in a little bit on that. And again, the nice thing about using a vector mask, I'm not sure if that highlight is from this car or from that car, so I'm just going to cut it out. I don't think it's that important, and that sticks out a little, but I'm just going to trim that off. Come around here, and I'm going to, for this hood ornament, I'm going to have to zoom in, and I'm just click drag, click drag, very subtle changes, click drag, click, click, click drag, click drag. And again, I'm dragging forward. I don't drag backwards because then it, I have to affect it out here, not back this way. So I'm dragging forward always. Click drag, and then I'm going to hold the option key and drag that point back in on itself. Click drag, just click, click, click. Oh, sorry, click drag. I'm click dragging most of these. Well, you can see. Well, hopefully you can. There's enough detail in this video that you can see. All right, here we got a long point. There, it looks like there's some movement here or some bend here, but it might just be the reflections that makes it look that way. I'm going to hold the command key, drag that down so I can cut into that, adjust that handle ever so slightly, and then I'm just going to click, zoom in so I can get around this edge here. Click, click drag, option, break that point, and I'm just going to click drag, break that point with the option key, drag it back on itself, and then click drag, click drag. Alright, that's not in the right space. Command to move that point in, click drag, click. Alright, that didn't work out, so I'm going to hold the command key to get the white arrow, and I can't. Okay, there's that point right there. It's a little hard to see that anchor point, I mean the handle, but I can see it. Okay, click here and then click. Whoops, I deselected. I'm going to reselect. I'm going to click. Okay, I clicked on it and it's reselected it. Click, click drag. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Click drag, and I'm holding the option key to break that point off. Click out here, click in. I just want to try something here real quick. I'm going to deselect just to make sure I got this right. Okay, so I deselected it. I clicked in this gray area here so you can't see the mask. I'm going to click on the mask here again. Okay, you probably can't see it, but it's right there, very faint. You can see it a little clearer here. And if I click on that, okay, I'm on the move tool. I need to be on the white arrow tool. Okay, so I'm going to click on it, and you can see that, well, maybe you can see that that arrow is hollow. I'm going to click on it. Now it's solid. So now I should be able to continue with the pen drawing. Pen. No. Okay, see, I clicked on it, and you can see I got, again, that asterisk on the pen tool. So yeah, it's telling me it's going to make a new path. So I'm going to click on that, and now I get that minus, so it's going to add, it's telling me it's going to remove that point. That means it's selected and I can continue. Alright, so we're good to go. I just wanted to do that because sometimes it can be very frustrating when you're making a path, you accidentally deselect it, and it takes forever to, to get that, to figure out how to get that point back. So basically you just have to make sure to reselect it with the pen tool to reselect that point. Again, I'm click dragging. That's a little close to the edge. I'm going to move it in a little. Actually, I want to break that point, shorten that point. And again, you can see how what they call torque. If I move it in here, I don't have to move it very much, and I make a big difference on the opposite side. But if I stretch it out here, it makes very little difference. So it gets a little difficult when I'm trying to shorten that to adjust that. So you just got to get used to it. Okay, I think we're getting close to the end here. Click drag. I'm gonna hold the Option key and shorten that, because if I, let's see, if I'm going to do this again. If I drag it and I only pay attention to what's happening on the left side, you can see I pull this out here and it works perfectly here, but then when I get here, it's going to pull this line out. So if I do a line down here, well, actually, I take it back. That did work. Okay, I thought this was going to pull it out too far. So, well, you can see if I make a close line here, you can see how that line is coming across and is sort of bowing out before coming back. That's why the short line is here. So if I hold the command key, I can drag that in, but I have to pay attention to what's happening on the opposite side. But I just have to drag it in, and now I have that control back. So the thing is, when you're working with these things, they don't have to be exactly the same. You know, there's no 100% best way to do this. You just got to get a feel for it, to how it's, you know, working. And all right, we're getting close to, we're right here at the end. So when I hover over that end point, you can see I got that little circle next to that little circle symbol next to the pen tool. I click, and now it has completed my path. And another very important thing, make sure you name the path, because we're naming it not to name it, we're naming it to save it. Because if I start making a new path here, it's gonna, I'll show you. I'll click. Well, that didn't work. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna get rid of that, because that added to the path. If I click off of that and I start making a new path, you can see it made this new path, and it deleted all the work that I just did. So I'm gonna Command Option Z to go back, and I get it back. So now I can save it, and I'm gonna call that truck. All right. But the thing too, again, so now if I click off of that and I start drawing, it makes a new work path. All right. So I'm gonna Command Option Z to get rid of that. I'm gonna reselect that, because I want to select inside of these windows here. I think that's, no, I can't tell if this is with the other truck or this truck. I believe that's with the other truck. So with this vehicle in the background. So I'm just going to click here. And again, it might be a little hard to see. Actually, I'm going to go to my, right here, this flyout menu right here, and panel options. And I'm going to, oh, that is already the largest size. Okay, I thought that was medium size. Okay, so that's the largest. But you can see there's some little, you can see some little lines appearing here, but I'm just going to continue. Whoops. I thought I was going here, but I'd already started drawing in a counterclockwise position, so I'm just going to keep going that way. Okay, and move my way around. Just click, drag, Command key to move that up, back a little. Okay, I'm just going to click. I'm not going to worry about, I'm assuming that's a sticker on the window, but we don't need the sticker on the window. Okay, so now you can see here I've added to the selection. Now I'm going to make another click, drag. Hang on, I need to click, drag. Hang on, click. Okay, Option key to drag that back in. Command key to move it over a little and readjust that point, that handle. And now I'm just going to release. Click, drag, click. All right, so now you can, it's hard to see, but there are two, you know, if I select that, you can see that there's, select, deselect. I didn't want to do that. Okay, so let me make sure there aren't any more holes. Okay, there's one here. I hate this sticker on the window. I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'll just leave that for now. Well, because you got the reflection on the hood. I'll worry about that later. Nah, I'll get rid of it. I'll worry about fixing it later. But for now, I'm just going to, it looks like a suction cup stuck on the window. But I'm just going to ignore that for now. I don't think that'll be too noticeable. And then click, drag. I'll leave that. I can get rid of that too. Okay, I'm just going to click. Actually, I don't like the position. I'm going to drag that down a little. Readjust those handles. And I'm going to click here. Whoops, I lost it, so I'm going to re-click on that to reselect it. And I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm just going to click here, click to close it, and you can, oh, it made a new work path. That's not what I wanted to do. I wonder. I've never tried this before. I'm going to see if I can copy and paste it. I'm going to select that with the black arrow tool. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to Command Shift, Command V. Yes, it worked. All right, I've never done that before. Okay, so I was able to cut this and paste this into this this vector, or into this mask. All right, so I'm going to zoom out, and here is my car. It's been selected. Actually, I got, okay, now remember there was a space at the back of the car, so I'm just going to try to quickly blow through these where the grass is showing through. Click, drag, click, 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 click. All right, I think that shadow going on here, I'm not sure exactly what's going on, so I'm just gonna fudge it. All right, Command Z, click. Uh-oh, that didn't work. I'm gonna cut into this a little bit. Click, hold the Command key, click on it, readjust these, make sure they're lined up just right. Are there any more holes? I'm gonna zoom out. Okay, technically I'm sure that's grass there, but it's in the shadow, so I'm not gonna worry about it. And I just remember that there is this one little piece back here. Click, click. Actually, I should probably make that, give that some shape. Option key to drag that back. Click, drag, click. Okay, so now we have our the truck. So now what I'm going to do, it's again, it's named, so it's saved. So now from here, I'm just gonna, I want to make this a vector mask rather than a regular mask, because if I were going to make this a regular mask, I could actually, there's the flyout menu here, but it's off of the screen, and I could just hit make selection. But let's see, if I'm on the black arrow tool, I'm on the black arrow tool. If I click here, I can right click and I can hit make selection, and then it makes it a selection. Then I can go back to my layers panel and just make a regular layer mask. But I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna go back to my paths. I'm gonna deselect that, and I'm gonna right click on that. I'm gonna click on that line. I go first. Okay, I select it. Now I'm gonna right click, and I'm gonna hit make create vector mask. All right, it's not allowing me to create a vector mask right now, and that's because this is a background layer. It's weird. If I do a layer mask, it will allow me to do that because it will automatically change this background layer to no longer be a background layer. But for the vector mask, it won't. So I'm going to double click on that, and layer 0. I'm just going to call this truck layer. Hit enter, and now it's no longer a truck. I mean a background layer. So now I can go back to paths, and I can click on that line, can right click, create a vector mask, and then I have this really nice cutout of this truck. And again, the best thing about the actually this looks pretty decent where I just cut the sticker and stuff out. It's not very noticeable, but I would go back and fix this. I wouldn't leave that like that. But if you notice, I don't see any bad spots because I was consistently going along and cutting in, trying not to pick up any of those outside edges. So I did a pretty good job of that. But I'm sure, okay, well, you can see one thing. This tire looks pretty fat, and this tire looks like super thin. So I got to fix one of those. And since this is a vector mask, I'm going to click on this is the original mask. I'm going to click on this vector mask. And the nice thing, I can go to the white arrow tool, the direct selection tool, and I can just click on that. Whoops. I have to click off of it because everything is selected. Now I can reselect it, and now I get these hollow points, the hollow anchor points, and now I can adjust these points. Let's see what's going on. Okay, there we go. That looks better. That's much better. Okay, so that is the advantage of a vector mask over just making it the regular mask. But if you're not comfortable with the vector mask, you know, the other way works too. Because I could have just as easily done that with the paintbrush, but it wouldn't have that same crisp smoothness. But as you can see, now I'm going to go to my layers. I'm going to hit new layer in the flyout menu. Just leave that layer 1. Edit. Fill. And let's give it a nice color. Okay, click color, blue. It's already set. Blue looks good. Hit OK. Drag it behind. And we've got a very, very nice, clean line. And again, you zoom in on this, and these lines are perfect. You know, they're crisp and clean. So that is, again, the pen tool takes a bit more work to do this, but your results can be really phenomenal. So I say go for it. Okay, now actually there's these last little bits here where I had these stickers here. Let's see if I can fix those up. I'm gonna make a click here in the flyout menu, hit new layer. Can't see it because it's off the screen, and I'm gonna call this retouch. Enter. I'm gonna drag that to the top. I'm gonna try to use the spot healing brush tool on this. So I'm going to click on there. And the thing, I'm going to do this non-destructively. I'm not going to actually affect this layer here. I'm not going to draw on this layer. I'm going to do it all on this layer here. But in order to do that, I have to make sure sample all layers is on. And let's see what this spot healing brush tool will do for me. So I'm just going to, actually that brush looks a little small. I'm just going to hit my left bracket key to enlarge. That's next to the P key, right and left, to enlarge and reduce the size. And I'm just going to paint over that. And no, that's, well, yeah, okay, I'm going to hit Command Z, go back. Actually, this is here, all on the same layer. I'm just going to hit Select All, Delete. All right, I think I need a bit more control, so I'm going to go to the clone stamp tool. And I'm going to sample this here. Oh, I have to make sure all layers is selected because I just switched tools, all layers, so it'll do this non-destructively on this separate layer. I'm going to enlarge my brush by hitting the bracket key. I'm going to sample from this area here and then just paint down. Okay, that seems to have gotten that pretty well. Alright, so I'm going to go over here and get rid of this sticker. I'm going to, again, I'm on the clone stamp tool. I'm going to sample from this area here, and now I'm going to, by holding the option key, and then I'm just going to paint right here. And you can see that little dot, the little cross hair on the opposite side, showing that that's where I'm sampling from. Actually, this doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so we've fixed that area. All right, I'll zoom out. Now let's see if we can fix, oh, I forgot this little suction cup on the window. It should be pretty easy to fix. I'm going to sample from this area here because that's sort of gray. It's a little darker over here, so I'm just going to sample. And I'm not doing this all in one stroke. I'm doing it in little bits so I don't make any mistakes. Okay. All right, so we got the suction cup off of the window. Zoom out, see if we can fix this hood, these reflections. So here I'm gonna try the spot healing brush tool again, because there's a lot of, you know, orange. There's no major, well, things go, no, still not working. Nah, oh well. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the clone stamp tool. Alright, and just be very specific. Okay, so actually I want to sample closer to this area. I'm gonna enlarge that brush. Come across from this side, just because I think it's a good idea to kind of move around. Oh, you start to pick, you see there's a little bit of a line working here. But I just like to come from different angles because it adds a little bit more variety of colors so you don't start to repeat things. Alright, now there's a bit of a line here, so now I'm going to go to the healing brush tool and just go over that line and sort of soften that edge up. Alright, so go back to the clone stamp, see if we can pick this area up. And every time you see that target, that means I'm holding the option key down and I'm resampling. Okay, almost there. Although we got that nice reflection in that silver, which I don't like. So I'm going to click on this line right here on the line to sample, and then I can just sort of click and work my way. Hang on, work my way up, because if I draw it in one fell swoop, it's gonna just basically reshift that line because it's still yellow. So I'm just taking it a little bit at a time. Alright, that line isn't perfect, but come across from this way. Alright, it looks pretty decent. Okay, so I've picked that up, and that's it. I've gotten rid of the stickers on the window. Okay, I'll leave that one. I'm not going to worry about that one. Let's see if we can see if I can disable this layer mask. Disable a vector mask, and so that's before, and that's after.